since we moved to a new workshop, we thought it'd be a good idea to kind of do a bit of a walk around of, how we've got it set up, what's in the workshop at the moment, things like that. So I've got Joe with me today to kind of talk about the projects he's got in his business, and then obviously some other bits that are sitting around to the side and stuff as well. So, and how we've got the workshop laid out as well. So we'll get into it. So I think we'll start with the workshop area. So do you want to give us a bit of a walk around?
Yeah, so we've obviously got the mezzanine, and that's kind of lent itself perfectly to set the fab shop up underneath.
Yeah.
So this is where the majority of my gear is. I've got some toolboxes over there somewhere as well, but obviously we've got the fixture table, this sort of centre stage. Do the majority of the fab work on there, all the fixtures and the clamps and stuff, run-of-the-mill stuff. Just some workbenches that used to be in my garage at home where it all started, so it's nice that they're still here. Paint on the wall, or well, in the cupboard on the wall. Got a big old bandsaw that's recently been donated. Thank you, Matt. Did a bit of jiggery pokery, got it working the way I needed it to work. I've got some other stuff on a table over there, but I need to finish doing some electrics in here before all that works.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where, if I'm not actually physical hands-on car, then everything else happens under here.
Okay, cool. I just noticed the Nissan overalls hanging there too, which I've not seen before.
Yeah, so the first car we'll talk about, I've had to do a lot of sort of grinding of the underseal off.
Right.
I was going home covered in so much crap. I was like, I really need to bring my overalls up here.
So okay.
That's why they're there.
Okay, cool. Yes. Should we have a look at the mezzanine quickly?
Yeah, can do.
All right, so this is the mezzanine. Just give you a quick.
It's a mess.
It is a bit of a mess at the moment, but that's because we've got so many projects that are in the middle of stuff at the moment.
Yeah, there is just stuff everywhere. I do aim to get some more of this racking up here at some point. There is also a plan in the future to maybe extend the mezzanine a bit further along.
Yeah.
But that's like pie in the sky, way down the line sort of thing. But for now, it's good. We can throw everything up here. All my fiberglass parts are here. All my fiberglass moulds are over there. The fiberglass consumables are all tucked away up the corner.
Yeah.
There's a shelf dedicated to one project there. There's another shelf dedicated to my car there. And the majority of this is Lee's on the back wall.
Oh, some wood there. But yeah, so this is all my crap from my cars.
Yeah.
So mostly the Laurel, to be fair, but and then there's also stock of t-shirts and stuff there.
Yeah. I aim to sort of have a rack per project.
Makes sense.
So as soon as we get into some of the other cars, they'll get their own rack. And,
Yeah.
All the parts get put on the shelf. So
okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to try and keep things as tidy as possible because, like, especially when you're taking stuff off one project and you might have two, you might end up with two of the same projects in here, for example, and you don't want to be getting them mixed up and stuff.
Yeah.
So, no, it makes a lot of sense. So, on to the first of the Retro Race and Restore projects that's in at the moment. Do you want to give us a bit of a...
Yeah, so it's a cobalt blue 106 GTI that is doing typical 106 things and rusting everywhere. Customer stripped it all down to a bare shell himself, and then he's sent it here to have all the welding done. It's going to get a seal job, an under seal job as well.
Yeah.
And then it will go back to him, where he will build it back up to a running car again.
Oh, okay, cool.
But there's big holes in every wheel arch. There's a lot of surface rust underneath. It's mad. It's all the way to the bottom skin basically. So
right.
We're having to take it apart like an onion.
Yeah.
And then build back up from the bottom.
Which is the right way to do things.
Yeah, it is the correct way to do things. Seal each layer as you go, spot weld it all at the end. It should be fine for many, many years after that. It's just rubbish work. Rust work is the worst, but it's one of them.
Yeah, it pays the bills at the end of the day.
It will do.
So that's cool. Should be an interesting little car once he's got it all back together as well. Because when we met him, he was talking about doing an engine rebuild as well, wasn't he? So,
Yeah, I think he bought it last summer, drove it around, and then took a few things off at the beginning of winter, and then thought, oh crap, it's a lot worse than I thought it was. So his aim is to have it back together again for next summer, and then I think he'll sell it at the end.
fair enough.
But at least all the work will have been done.
Yeah.
Because while I've got the car, he's refurbishing the axles and everything at home. So, and like you say, I think he said the engine was burning a bit of oil, so he's going to get that looked at as well.
Cool.
So it'd be a pretty cool car when it's finished. I used to enjoy these things back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It seems a lot of the people I know through the car scene have had something similar to this at one point or the other. I think I'm the only person who ended up with a Corsa instead of a Peugeot or a Citroen. So.
Yeah, it was one of the two.
Yeah. But no, they are funky little cars when you get them on track now. So lightweight and
Yeah, they are great to drive.
good handling. So yeah, it'd be quite fun to have a go in that, I reckon. Once it's all back together. Yeah. Okay, cool. What about this one then?
This was the first customer of Retro Racing Restore, so it's a pretty special one. And when it's finished, it's going to be pretty special as well. A lot like my BMW, this is going to be a complete custom car.
Yeah.
So what we're doing, we'll start from the beginning. He bought this as a part finished conversion to MX-5 running gear
Okay.
and rear wheel drive.
Yeah.
And it sat in his workshop for a couple of years, and then he decided that he needed to do something about it. And then he stumbled across my Instagram page or my Facebook page or whatever. Got in touch, I went to see the vehicle, had a look, discussed what he wanted to do, and then he transported it here. So basically the job that had been done before was pretty ropey. They'd basically cut up MX-5 subframes and shortened them in the middle. And everything was a little bit crooked, and the panel work wasn't very nice. And so we basically decided to start again. So I cut the bulkhead out that they'd made, cut the gearbox tunnel out that they'd made, and then removed the subframe so that we could make a tubular one. So it'll end up with a tubular front subframe, a tubular rear subframe that's all tied into the roll cage, and then MX-5 engine, gearbox prop.
Yeah, again, this is going to be something that I really want to see going around the track at some point. It'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, it is predominantly going to be his track car. He does a lot of track days. He actually owns a company that does garage flooring. Garage Transforms, I think it's called.
Yeah.
The plastic clip together floor tiles.
I'll put a link to their Instagram page in the description.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So he's going to use this as an advertisement for his company while he's on the track days. Yeah. So it's going to be wicked, and especially like his brain is a bit like mine. He's already 25 steps ahead of where he needs to be, and he's thinking about turbos or superchargers and things like that. But yeah, it's even in stock MX-5 engine trim, it's going to be pretty lethal. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it weighs next to nothing to start with. I mean, we've been able to pick it up and move it around while it's been in here, so putting an MX-5 running gear in it as an engine and everything, it's going to be absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool, and it's like a one-piece front end as well. So I think I'm going to make brackets so that it lifts up like a Ferrari. So, but yeah, it's going to be pretty cool when it's done.
That'll be cool. Can't wait to see it finished. I mean, to be fair, I'm no fabricator, but when you first brought this into the shop and we were looking around it, even I was like pointing out the welds and stuff and being like, ugh, that looks pretty ropey.
Yeah, like the rear subframe cradle at the moment is made out of some 2020 box section and held in with M8 bolts. It's like one decent rumble strip and it just pull the rear subframe out.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to last very long, is it?
Yeah, we'll probably get a custom subframe at the back as well, where I can tie it into all the roll cage points. And then we've got to do everything. Basically, he hasn't got anything for it, so we need to do a fuel cell. We need to make radiator mounts. We need to make mounts for reservoirs and all this sort of stuff. So it's a full build, and then it will get wired at the end as well, which I'll probably do this time, just because, like my car, it can be a real simple system. Maybe unlike mine, it'll have indicators and stuff like that, because I think he even plans on driving it on the road.
Yeah, I think when I was talking to him a few weeks ago, when I was helping him out up at his other workshop, like, he was talking about like driving it to places and stuff. I'm like, are you mad?
Drive it to the ring, and I just looked at him like, you're braver than me.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd want. Well, it would be cool to do a trip to Nürburgring in a car, but I'm not sure this would be the one, if I'm honest.
Reliability-wise, I mean, it's going to be an MX-5, so it would work, but it's not going to be the most comfortable of 15-hour drives.
It's going to be noisy. Cool.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts when it's finished.
Yeah, so now we're on to that big white thing in the corner.
Yeah, some idiot dropped this off.
I wonder who that could be.
Said, fix this for me. So, this.
I don't believe I said, can you fix it for me?
Well, it's going to end up that way, I think.
Well, no, you're going to be doing the fabrication work on it. Yeah. Who's been doing the engine work?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, obviously Lee's Laurel C33 engines on the stand over there. That's had a bit of work. What we thought was a loose crank pulley turned out to be a spun crank keyway. What was supposed to be a 10-minute job turned into a bottom end rebuild.
Yeah.
So that was fun. You'll have obviously seen that in previous videos, but it just goes to show that one silly thing turned into a complete car rebuild. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know how much of your plans have you told people of this?
Oh, I haven't yet. So might as well swap over for a second.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have the rod.
You got the rod.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Joe said, it was essentially just going to be a case of, we did some suspension work early this year, like bigger brakes, some extra lock on the front, things like that, and 5-stroke conversion as well. That's something else I did.
Yeah.
It was just about, well, as far as I was concerned, it was just about ready to take to track and, you know, try it out. Then, like, I think I had it running one day, and Joe was looking down into the engine bay. He was like, "You do realise your crank pulley is doing this?" So then obviously we looked into it, like he said, and found out that there was a lot more work that needed doing. So that came out. And then,
I mean, you've previously done the head gasket on this, haven't you? So I just thought, oh, maybe he hasn't torqued the bolt up, because I think it maybe went to one drift day after you did the head gasket, and then it got parked up.
No.
No?
No, I did all 22 and 23 with it. Because I did the head gasket during COVID.
Right.
And which turned out it wasn't actually the head gasket that was a problem. But I'm kind of glad I've done it, because it's future-proofed it now.
Yeah.
Because I've got all the head skimmed and everything.
Okay. So
I won't go into the issue there, but
yeah.
It's my own fault at the end of the day.
We just kind of thought that maybe the crank bolt hadn't been torqued down, or it had creeped loose or whatever, but it had actually spun the keyway, hadn't it? Which is a bit scary.
Yeah. If we didn't have the engine wrapped up at the moment, I'd actually go to show.
Yeah.
But it's in the previous video anyway, so please go back and watch that. But yeah, when we were moving it up from the old unit up to this unit, I noticed that there was some rubbing issues with the front wheels, with the new lock and everything. So I was sitting down with Joe and kind of discussing the options. It was either, you know, take a big hammer to the arches, or we just cut them out and tub them and do it right. So I'm kind of the opinion that should do, if you're going to do something, do it once, do it right. So yeah, that's why obviously it's got big holes in it at the moment, and the engine's out, and it's...
Yeah. I mean, it's not going anywhere for a while anyway, is it? So we may as well.
The plan is to try and get it back onto a track for next spring. Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of in a bit of a delay at the moment, because I'm waiting for some engine parts to turn up. I think we still need to figure out what metal we need for this before you can do all the arches and everything. And then once that's done, I'm going to paint the engine bay the colour that the rest of the car will eventually come. I'm not going to talk about that now, but you'll see it in a future video.
Yeah.
And yeah, then it's going to be a case of taking it to a drift day, assuming they'll lay it on without probably front wings and stuff. Yeah. And just to test it, give it a shakedown, everything, make sure that everything's working, and then in between drift days, we've got a body kit that we're kind of built. Well, me and Joe are Frankensteining together for this car, because the Euros kit that I had for it, I bought it from Japan, got it shipped over. It was a lot of money, and it took a long time. And unfortunately, you can't really get kits for these over here. The couple of people that do have them sell them for really extortionate amounts of money, and I'm talking similar price to what I paid to get one from Japan. So we can't, because Joe's done fiberglass in the past, I kind of sat down and said, you know, if we did this, is it something you would be able to help with? And he was kind of, he rolled his eyes, but
I stupidly said yes.
yeah, you did roll your eyes at me, but you did say yes as well. So, but the idea is that because he's got the skills, what I want to do, rather than have him make my kit every time I break something, I want him to at least show me how to, you know, remake the parts myself once we've got the molds.
Yeah.
So that, you know, I'm not having to bug him every time I need a new bumper or I need a new side skirt or something. So yeah, that's going to be something that will be coming in future videos as well. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything for now.
Yeah, that really expensive Euros kit that you got over from Japan, you promptly exploded as well, didn't you?
That's the one I'm just talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. So it makes it a lot like my car. It's being able to reproduce it quickly and cheaply is the key. It's a bit of a faff at the beginning, making the plugs and stuff, but as soon as you've done it, it's done.
Yeah.
So.
And the other reason I want to be able to have a kit of my own is it's going to be slightly different to everything else that's out there, because the only kit that you can really get in the UK is the final connection kit.
Yeah.
Which, like I say, is people are selling for way more than they really should be. I get it, it's, you know, there's a markup on everything these days, but it's way out of my price budget.
Yeah, because the kit we're going to make fit isn't a Laurel kit.
No.
It will be a Laurel kit once we're finished with it, but it's a kit from a different car.
Actually, technically, it's a kit from two different cars.
Yeah, of a similar shape, so you can make as many guesses as you like, but it is going to be pretty one-off, and then we'll be able to reproduce it afterwards, which will be pretty cool.
And well, we've already kind of got the front bumper to a point where it almost fits, so we already know how cool it's going to look when it's done as well, so that's really good.
Yeah, a bit of bubble gum and body filler and snot, it will work, no worries.
Ugh, I don't want snot on my car.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty much that. I think we'll probably have to do some rear arch work as well, because they're kind of rubbing at the moment, but it's minimal stuff really.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Get the hammers out.
So there's one more car that's been added to the workshop. It's just out of shot over here.
Yeah, brings us to the next one.
Yeah, which we picked up last weekend. Now, these cars, every time I talk about them, I'm always kind of saying that I feel like they're a bit overdone and a bit too popular now. But then when I'm stood next to one, I'm kind of like...
Every time I walk in the workshop, it's just like, oh my God, I can't believe that's here.
I kind of feel like I've got an itch I need to scratch there now, because I've spent some time stood near this one. Yeah. Like I kind of feel like, you know, I need to do something. So, yeah, should we introduce it?
Yeah. This is a 1998, I think, 1999 possibly, R34 GTT Skyline. So this belongs to an old friend of mine. It's basically been sat for 10 or 11 years. So it's showing signs of corrosion, as these things do.
Yeah.
It's possibly having strut tops, which is common. There's work to do on the chassis legs. There's work to do on the rear pockets. It basically just wants recommissioning. It's got a bit of a misfire. It's got a few leaks. You know, it needs a really good service. Obviously, it hasn't moved for 10 years. First time it really moved was to put it on the trailer. So it'll get cam belt, it'll get other belts, it'll get full service top to bottom, front to back, all the fluids, it'll get new brakes. And unfortunately, he's going to all this trouble just to sell it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, to be fair.
So it's just one of those things, his personal circumstances. He's just like, I don't use it. I've got other cars that are way more comfortable and like nowhere near as rare. So yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. It's an automatic as well, which I quite like.
Yeah, I mean, for a road car.
Yeah.
It's
keep me out of trouble. If it was manual, I'd just be doing skids and stuff.
That is true.
So So yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Basically, when the Peugeot's finished, I'm going to move on to this. The Mini gets done in between everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Obviously, both of us have got a decent background with Skylines and chassis and stuff. They're predominantly the same. But yeah, it's RB25. It's got like a stage 2 hybrid turbo that Conceptual used to do. Remember the gold ones? Yeah, it's got one of those. That's how, like, not to be rude, but it's kind of outdated a bit.
Yeah.
It's got yellow jacket coils that nobody really buys anymore.
No.
Like a turbo that they don't even do anymore. And I don't think it was ever mapped either, so there might be an opportunity to video taking it to Pro Tuning to have it all set up. Yeah,
we're going to try and do a bit of a video series on this once he starts digging into it, just to kind of show the process of bringing it back to life. And
yeah, this is the work I really want to gravitate towards. I want to keep these things alive.
Yeah.
I want to race these things. I want to road drive these things. If I could only work on S chassis and R chassis, I would. So obviously, there's the cool cars like the Mini, and there's the build pay like the Peugeot. But if I could really focus on these sorts of things, I would really love to.
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, just looking at it now, I'm kind of like, I want to buy one now.
It's just gorgeous, isn't it?
It is. Like, from the outside, you would not think that it needs work. Like, it's being kept really clean.
It's always the way. I mean, I used to know a guy who had a 50,000 mile S14.
Yeah.
And then when we looked underneath it, it was falling apart.
Really?
So it's just one of those. And everybody who's into these knows that the R34 didn't get really any underseal that made any difference. It never got any panel sealing between the panels.
Yeah.
That's why they rust. And there's 2 little pockets in the strut tops in each corner, and that gets moisture, and that's where they rot.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're well known to be a bit of a pig, but it's a wonderful, wonderful car. And even though it hadn't run for 10 years, we put a battery on it and bang, it fired straight up, didn't it?
It did, yeah. So, I mean, I was a bit dubious doing that because obviously we didn't know the last time any oil had been kind of circulated around the engine, but...
Yeah, and it's got 10-year-old fuel in it. And all that. We're going to drain all that out. It'll get a new fuel pump.
Yeah.
You know, it'll get nice. So.
Yeah, and depending on what the customer wants, it might get new coils as well, just to bring it up to date a bit.
So, we'll see. We shall see.
It is cool, though.
Very cool.
Like I say, it's just... Every time somebody talks to me about R34s, I'm kind of like, is that the only car you really know? And then as soon as I'm stood next to one, I'm like, I really want one.
Yeah, I mean, being honest, I only knew that was a Skyline.
Yeah, same.
Way back in the day when I got my R32, that's when I had to learn about Skylines, because I didn't realise there were any others than Paul Walker's.
Yeah, well, this is it. I saw, like you, I saw it on Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah. I was like, oh, I love that Skyline, I love that Skyline. And then I think I turned up to Jap Show with JPLC, and you turned up in your blue R32. I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
I started looking around it and stuff while you weren't there, and like, obviously it had the horrible Kermit green mirrors on it, but...
But naively, I didn't realise that there were other Skyline...
Nah. Me neither.
Iterations. Back in the day, I wasn't massively JDM sort of thing. So, but yeah, it's still the daddy, isn't it? Really.
Oh yeah.
Even in GTT.
Yeah.
It's I can't afford a GTR, so a GTT would be fine. But
a GTS would be fine, to be perfectly honest.
Non-turbo automatic would be grand, and we'd just save it for an engine. But it really is super cool. It's got carbon bonnet. It's got carbon boot lid.
Yeah, which obviously you can't see at the moment because it's too high.
It's got the whole night racer splitters,
Yeah.
It's cool, mega cool.
It is, it's really cool. So yeah, that's that one. And then obviously the last one, which we've done a video on recently, is the...
elephant in the room.
Well, it's not an elephant, it's tiny, but...
Well, yeah. So we obviously did the build breakdown video, if you want to call it that, on this, which you will see at some point.
I think that should already have gone before this video, to be fair. But...
Okay. Well, just a rundown for this, and this is waiting for the roof to be skimmed because it's a bit Western Beach. So that it's going to get a skimmer filler on the roof. and then it's going to get rubbed down and re-primed, and then it's going to get painted. So that should all happen in January. We're in December now. So once the actual steel body has been painted, the windscreen can go in it, the seats can go in it. It can kind of go back together in its raw form.
Yeah.
And then we could test it, because I'm keen to drive it before I paint all the body panels.
Yeah.
Just in case I need to shave a bit here and cut a bit there.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's never really been together.
No.
It's done some driving, only around the block of an industrial estate, but it drives. It holds temperatures and stuff. I need to adjust the clutch because the bite's really high. But being a pedal box, it needed setting up anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's it really. I've got to make a few more body panels for it, but it's probably a solid month's worth of work away from being finished.
That's cool.
Which is bizarre. Yeah. Because it's taken so long to get to this point. But
it has, unfortunately, but like as we've said in that previous video, like you've done this you did most of the work on this in your spare time, like evenings and weekends outside of work. It's not something you've been working on full time. It's kind of been like a bit of a passion project almost. Yeah. So it makes sense that it's taken so long in that, if you look at it in that respect. But
yeah, sure.
It would be good to kind of, I'm guessing you're getting to a point now where you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you kind of like, I just want to get there now.
Yeah, I mean, every time I lay hands on it, it's like, oh, I remember that, and I'll do this, and I'll do that. It's revisiting my old to-do list and checking things off. Yeah. But it really is just body work now. Cool. And then put the dash back in, put the seats and harnesses in, and it can go on a track down.
Sweet. That'd be really cool.
Take them up the lane and back.
Scared all the neighbours.
Yeah, so obviously I'd like to use this thing in 2025 as much as possible. And, you know, the work that I do in the workshop here will hopefully enable us to build more cars like this. Yeah. And then we'll document it along the way. And I've got a few plans for promotional cars I want to build for my company. I know that the Laurel and your Sylvia are kind of promotional cars for your company. Yeah, yeah. I think the plan is to try and hit a few shows and a few events next year with all of the vehicles. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, so we'll give it a real good push, and we'll see what other exotics we can get in here. Yeah, that'd be fun. Be interesting to see what comes up. And as I've said before, if you want any work doing, then drop Joe a message at Retro Racing Restore on Instagram. Yeah. We are setting him a website up at the moment. That's down to me to do, but I've just kind of it's kind of fallen to the wayside a bit while I've had other stuff to do. Now that we've got an array of work, we can address that. We get the website up. So that'll be up soon. Try and do some videos on the channel that are more me orientated as well as. Yeah, well, that was kind of the idea. So for clarity, like I know in the videos I always say us, and it's usually just me that's been in the videos up until now. That's mostly because either it's been Joe's backside that's been in the video, so I've had to cut it out, or he's kind of been working on all this stuff in the background while I've been working on my own stuff. We do want to kind of make this a channel for both of us rather than just me, because obviously there's far more interesting work that he's doing than I'm going to be doing on stuff like this mostly. Because once that's up and running, it's going to be a case of just keeping it going basically, and making it cooler and stuff. I'm putting all of my time and effort into what the work is. Yeah. I can't pick a camera up and then do the editing and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. So that kind of falls to me, which get pictures and videos sent to you for an edit, or you'll be here filming something and so on and so forth. But yeah, we can do that as and when, but yeah. It'd be cool, but yeah.